Have you ever seen a global ad campaign and just thought, wow, that was amazing, while another one from the same brand totally flops? Well, there's a reason for that. Today, we're going to crack the code on the incredibly high-stakes, super fascinating world of cross-cultural marketing. Let's figure out why. So, to kick things off, let's dive right into a story. A bit of a cautionary tale, really. It's the perfect example of what happens when a massive, billion-dollar brand gets something seriously wrong.
I mean, really think about that. How does it happen? You've got a whole team of smart people, you've got a slogan that works perfectly back home, it's catchy, it's powerful, but then you take it overseas and suddenly it means something, well, something you really, really didn't want it to mean.
Yeah, yikes. You heard that right. This actually happened. Pepsi's slogan back in the day was "Come alive with the Pepsi generation." Sounds pretty good, right? Energizing. But when they translated it for the Chinese market, it came out a little too literally. It's a classic example of a message just completely stumbling over a huge cultural and language barrier.
And this is the absolute key right here. It's so much more than just getting the words wrong. The real danger is what's hidden beneath the surface. We're talking about the deep, invisible, unwritten rules that every society has. It's like an iceberg. You only see the tip, but the real challenge is navigating what's underwater.
So, if we want to avoid accidentally promising to reanimate relatives, we have got to crack the cultural code. Let's take a closer look at this invisible force that pretty much shapes everything we do, from how we interact with our families to what we decide to buy at the store.
The best way to think about culture is like a society's operating system, right? It's not something you're born with, it's the software that gets installed from the day you're born. It's this whole collection of shared beliefs, values, and customs that tells us what's normal, what's important, and yeah, ultimately, what to buy.
And we can actually break this big idea of culture down into 5 core parts. First, you've got values. The big ideas a society agrees are important, like freedom or family. Then there are norms, which are all the unwritten rules for how to behave. You've got symbols, things like colors or gestures that have a hidden meaning. Of course, there's language itself. And finally, rituals. Think holidays or weekly traditions that often drive huge spending habits.
All right, so now that we have the building blocks, let's look at some real-world examples of how these cultural components can create totally different worlds for anyone trying to sell something. It's pretty fascinating.
Okay, this is probably one of the biggest cultural divides on the planet. In really individualistic cultures, like the US for example, ads are all about personal achievement. Nike's "Just Do It" is the perfect slogan for that mindset. But in more collectivist cultures, like you might find in India, the focus of marketing is completely different. It's all about family, community, and those deep emotional bonds.
So, to really boil it down, one message is all about stand out from the crowd, while the other is about let's celebrate together. And figuring out which message to use, well, that's the difference between connecting with your audience and just completely missing the point.
And get this, here's a perfect example of how symbols can mean the exact opposite thing depending on where you are. In the West, a bride wears white. It symbolizes purity, new beginnings. But in some parts of India and other Eastern cultures, white is traditionally the color of mourning. Imagine getting that wrong in an ad for a wedding dress. It would be a disaster.
And it's not just colors, even a simple gesture like a thumbs up. In the US, it means great job, but in parts of the Middle East and West Africa, it's basically like giving someone the middle finger. So yeah, you could say it's a cultural minefield out there.
Okay, so after hearing all that, you might be wondering, how do any brands get it right? Well, the smartest ones all follow a simple but really powerful philosophy. Think globally, but act locally. This is the playbook for winning.
So when a brand goes global, it basically has 2 choices. There's standardization, which is the easy route, right? One product, one ad campaign for the entire world. A one-size-fits-all approach. Then there's adaptation. And this means doing the hard work of actually tailoring your product, your message, everything to fit each local culture.
But where the real magic happens is with a strategy that has this kind of cool name, localization. It's this perfect blend of the two. You keep your global brand identity strong and consistent, but you adapt all the little and big details to really resonate with the local people. It is the best of both worlds.
McDonald's is an absolute master of this. Think about it. In India, where a large part of the population doesn't eat beef, they didn't just pack up and go home. Nope. They created the Makalu Tikki, a burger made with a spiced potato patty. It's still McDonald's, but it speaks the local language of food. And you see Netflix doing the same thing. They don't just dub American shows, they pour millions into producing local hits that really connect with the culture.
So, let's pull all of this together. You might be thinking, okay, this is cool, but I'm not a global marketing director. Why does any of this matter to the rest of us?
Okay, so if you take away just 3 things from our chat today, let them be these. Number 1, culture is that invisible operating system that's always running in the background guiding our choices. Number 2, the small stuff, like colors and gestures, is actually the huge stuff. It's critical. And number 3, the only way to win on a global stage is to adapt. One size just fits no one.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a business lesson. I mean, we live in this incredibly interconnected world now. Having the empathy and the curiosity to understand why people from different cultures see the world differently, that's become an essential skill for everyone, no matter what you do.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As all of our cultures continue to mix and blend and influence each other, it's worth asking yourself, which of the unwritten rules that you live by today might be completely different 10 years from now? Something to think about.